Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we're doing a special edition of our Spotlight on the Community show here at Yanni's Bar and Grill Restaurant in beautiful Scripps Ranch. It's a fundraising dinner for Rady Children's Hospital, and we're going to let my co-host, Isabella Pihas, talk about the cause. Isabella, always an honor to have you sit next to me.
Yeah, well, it's great to be here, Drew. Today we are fundraising for PIBD for Rady Children's Hospital, which are pediatric inflammatory brain disorders, one of which I had, which is PANDS, pediatric acute neuropsychiatric syndrome. But we're here to help expand care, hopefully be able to fund a nurse coordinator. As you can hear in the background, it is filling up in here, so we're super excited to be here and raise awareness and raise some funds.
So talk about, Adam, you experienced this, correct?
Yeah, I did. So I originally started experiencing symptoms in 2015. Mm-hmm. And it was...
And what were the symptoms?
It was initially acute psychiatric symptoms, so stuff like severe anxiety, paranoia, sometimes mimicking disorders you might know, like OCD, schizophrenia, stuff like, those kind of buzzword type of illnesses.
Yeah.
But when we initially started seeking treatment, psychiatric treatment just didn't seem to work. Meds didn't work, nothing. And so my parents were the ones who especially started searching for a cure, quote unquote, or what might be wrong with me. And eventually they came across PANDAS, which is one of the PIBD type illnesses. And eventually we managed to find a nurse practitioner up in kind of close to San Francisco area. Her name was Amy Joy Smith. She's a wonderful person, and she's the one who gave me my official diagnosis of PANDAS. And with that, it was really amazing because we weren't really getting the medical attention we needed when we go to the doctor. Sometimes my parents would kind of get turned down. They would kind of be almost laughed at in a medical sense, and it was really horrible because for me, suffering from this illness, I didn't know what was going on. But luckily, with Amy's diagnosis, I was able to start getting treatment. I got something known as IVIG. It's an infusion that kind of resets the immune system, and then also with some steroids. That's what really kind of set me on my path to recovery. And then it was 7 long years until I was able to finally be in what I consider remission. And now I am mostly happy and healthy. The worst I get is some tics when I get sick. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations to you. And that's just a great story on this. Now, you're a student, right?
Currently, yes, I'm a student. I go to Miracosta College in Oceanside.
Great community college, by the way. And but you're also a certified pharmacy tech, right?
Yes, I am. In my last year of high school, I slowly fell in love with medicine as I dealt with this illness. And I was like, there's this opportunity for me to do this course and be a pharmacy technician and get my foot in the door. And I'm like, I'm going to take it. And now I am just about to get my license, and I have an internship lined up and ready to go.
And where's the internship?
It is most likely going to be at just this little local pharmacy in Carlsbad.
Not just a little, it's a pharmacy. It's a pharmacy. Well, that is terrific. Now, you said 7 years before you started to feel like, okay, I got this now. Is that the normal range of that, or it really depends on the individual?
I couldn't say, but from my experience, my sister has the same illness, and for her, it's still a struggle. She's still working on it. She's better,
right?
But it's really one step at a time. And I think for some people, it could also be dependent on when you start getting treatment. But, that's the thing. We need more research into this. We need to know, is there kind of a limit? And can people guarantee that they can be helped? And I think that's really important.
So your sister's younger than you?
She's younger than me. She's 3 years younger, yeah.
Okay. So when you had these symptoms, she did not have them?
She did not. It took her... I'd say the timeline was about maybe a year or two behind on her.
Okay.
And then eventually she started experiencing some similar symptoms, a lot more anxiety related. And so it was kind of difficult for her, especially because it's hard to see. As an older brother, I really care about my sister. And to see her going through the same thing as I did was rough.
Right. Did your doctor say, hey, this thing may be genetic?
I think so, yeah, and I think that's something interesting to think about because I have a cousin on my dad's side who has very similar symptoms, very similar progression of symptoms as well. So we've always considered, is there kind of a genetic factor? And we're just not 100% sure. But again, I think research on that is important, and why stuff like this, these fundraisers, these programs, these groups is really important. I think that's...
Yeah, no, it sounds great, Adam. Isabella?
Yeah, well, and just to say what you were saying, Drew, 7 years, is that the normal? Unfortunately, I think from what I've talked to, it unfortunately is kind of an average. I mean, I couldn't say, I don't have the statistics, maybe one day. But for me, it was, also about 7-8 years until we finally, found it and then also got believed. But I think kind of the goal of what we're doing here today is, again, getting to the point where we can raise awareness. Adam, I was just curious on your experience, having it been so long before getting kind of an idea of what it might be. What was the experience with doctors? How did that make you feel? Was it kind of a negative thing? Was it positive? Were they wanting to work with you, especially because with more psychiatric symptoms, those can be difficult. Just wanting to know more about that experience.
Yeah, it was rough to say the least.
Yeah.
I remember one specific instance that sticks in my mind, and I'll give the example, but it's my parents had requested to talk to a doctor. I forget where it was, but they called, made an appointment, all that. When we got there and we're checking in, they were like, oh, it says... I forget exactly but it was something kind of, because at the time we thought it was PANDAS, so we made a point for PANDAS. And it was something similar, like pain something, and they had misheard what we had said. Oh. So when we got into the room, the doctor was like, oh, what's wrong? And they were like, no, we want to come and talk about PANDAS. We think that's what he could have, because he's not responding to psychiatric treatment, but he is to anti-inflammatories. And he just went in on my parents. It was one of the most inappropriate examples of a doctor talking to his patients and his clients ever. I mean, and I think that kind of went for not all doctors, but some were very much just, nope, absolutely not, can't be it, get out of my office. And they would just refuse to kind of take the time. And I don't, I couldn't say why they would do that. But it's rough because you really, it was a struggle and a fight to find the person who really cared and wanted to help.
Right. Well, Isabella knows that my head spins around like Linda Blair from The Exorcist. You both are too young to know what that movie is. My father was a doctor, and when Isabella was explaining to me that, the folks that were treating her just dismissed it as, it's in your head, what the hell's the matter with you? And you hear from this stuff, what this doctor did to your parents, they should be absolutely have their medical license taken away on the spot. I'm very bullish on that aspect of it. There's some phenomenally great doctors in this world. There is no question about that, and the overwhelming majority are in that. But when you hear these stories, they're having enough time as it is with their son is experiencing this to go ahead and be, it's inexcusable. We are chatting with Adam Gushansky. He's a student at Maricosta College, a certified pharmacy tech, on to probably own the world pretty soon over here, joined by my co-host, Isabella Pihas. And I'm Drew Schlosberg, and we're here from Yanni's Bar and Grill on a special edition of Spotlight on the Community, raising some funds for pediatric inflammatory brain disorders at Rady Children's Hospital. So I want to hear about this one here. You hosted a medical conference?
Yes, I did. This was my crowning achievement so far.
You got a lot more in you, I guarantee you that.
Thank you. But the backstory is that at my high school, which is Sage Creek High School in Carlsbad,
sure,
we have this thing called the Genius Project. And it's all about finding something or some way to help your community and, developing, an actual way to help. Like, you really have to put effort into it. All the seniors do it. And I originally had no clue what I was doing. I was only there for my senior year, and I just had no clue. I felt behind. I felt like I had no idea, and I really couldn't think of anything, because when I was thinking community, I was thinking literal, local, my city, my state, county, whatever. And eventually, it just came into my mind, like, what if I do something to help kids with PANDAS? What could I do? And I started thinking fundraise or something like that. But logistically, it just wouldn't work. I couldn't find a way for it to work. And then I thought, the key thing is awareness. So what if I tried to find a way to do it at the source? And so I was like, I'm going to host a medical conference. And it started off that I reached out to the person who diagnosed me, Amy Joy Smith, and she was emphatic. She was like, yes, let's do this. Absolutely. Right now. When? And we just, kind of slowly started up over time. We did it over Zoom because it was kind of tail end of the pandemic, but we wanted to be, better safe than sorry. But it was amazing. I think we got it was little over 100, maybe close to 200 people actually registered. Wow. And it was fantastic. We had doctors, nurses, students. I know for a fact that we have people from Rady's Children's Hospitals. They registered with their Rady's emails. And it was amazing. I got to talk for a bit about my experience. And then Amy really kind of was able to tell everyone about what to look for, symptoms-wise, treatment-wise. And I think it was just fantastic. And then actually, the staff at my school voted me to go and do this TED Talk that we do in our auditorium, and we invite people from the community, mayor, all that, and it was a really awesome thing, and I'm glad I got to do it. And I think it really, again, got to the source and told the people who are treating people, again, nurses, doctors, are going to see this and know what to look for.
Yeah.
There's no question about that, Isabella.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's so incredible and so inspiring. As somebody who has experienced PANS and knows, I feel like until you experience it, you don't understand like how difficult it can be. So to see somebody like me who had it leading this, and because I think it's easy to just, have that and be like, I don't ever want to think about this ever again. But for you to be kind of taking these experiences and really like taking it to the next step and working in care and working towards something in the medical field is really inspiring and incredible. And something I always like to ask people is like, what advice would they give? And for some, it's your sister also has this disorder. For people who are experiencing it, who may be in the trenches right now, what advice would you give to them, whether they're getting IVIG, maybe they're scared, maybe they're not knowing what's going on with them? What advice would you give to them?
I think what I would say is that never give up. I think for me, it felt a lot of the time like there's nothing that'll help you. There's nothing that's going to get better. You're going to be like this forever. People are always going to talk down to you, look down on you. You're going to have these symptoms that make your life debilitating. You're not going to live your life. All this, you're going to have this forever. All those thoughts are going to run through your head, and you can come out of it. It might take a while, and it might be difficult, but you can really, really come out of it, and there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I think that's what I always say, is just have hope.
So if folks are listening to the show, and they are listening, I will guarantee you on this, and they go, I need to talk to Adam, and because either I have a friend that's experiencing it, or my kid, or whatever, can they get a hold of you?
I don't got a lot of social media that's good for contact, but honestly, my email is arg4656@gmail.com, and if you ever want to send me something there, if you have any questions, I would not hesitate to respond.
No.
But also, sorry,
please,
if they want to view my TED Talk or the full medical conference or any just generic info related to PANDAS or anything like that, I do have a link tree. It's linktr.ee/ARG4656, and there's links there.
That's great. Any final comments?
Thank you so much for having me. I feel almost moved to tears. I think it's really beautiful that just people come out to support this now. I think I never, tell me in 2015 in 7th grade that this is something that I would be doing or seeing people support. I don't think I could ever think of that. It's amazing.
Yeah, I can guarantee you this. I've told this to Isabella. So I told Isabella when she first co-hosted my Spotlight shows a few years ago, I can tell people I knew Isabella when she was a Grammy Award-winning singer in a few years. I'm going to be able to do the same thing with Adam. Okay?
Yeah,
I said, I interviewed Adam when he was on his trajectory to sit there and do absolutely unbelievable research for PIBDs and everything in between. I know I'll be able to say this. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank
you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to a special edition of Spotlight on the Community Show here at Yanni's Bahr and Grill in Scripps Ranch, a fundraising dinner for Rady Children's Hospital focused on pediatric inflammatory brain disorders. We've been chatting with Adam Gushansky, a student certified pharmacy tech, someone who's gone through this, as has my co-host Isabella Pihas. We hope you enjoyed the show.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We're doing a special edition of the Spotlight on the Community Show here at Yanni's Bahr and Grill in beautiful Scripps Ranch. It's a fundraising dinner for Rady Children's Hospital. And I'm going to introduce my co-host because she's going to talk about why we're having this fundraising dinner, and that is Isabella Pihas. who's been my co-host for several years now.
Yeah, it's so great to be back here again hosting with you, Drew. We're here at Yanni's Bar and Grill, and we're fundraising for PIBDs, which is Pediatric Inflammatory Brain Disorders. As I said earlier on the podcast, I've experienced this. It's definitely not a fun thing to go through, and we need all the help we can get. So extremely excited to be here raising funds, raising awareness, and
Yeah, and we're honored to have with us Lori Mathios. She is the Director of Advancement for Rady Children's Hospital Foundation. Rady Children's Hospital, obviously arguably one of the world's best children's hospitals, and the world's best, probably solar system's best while we're at it. Lori, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and thank you so much for having me, both Drew and Isabella.
Absolutely. How long have you been with Rady?
Well, only about 15 years. But
You're just getting started. And I think you and I were chatting before. I've been honored to work with Rady for many, many, many years when the inimitable Blair Sadler was the CEO a long time ago.
Yes.
Talk about how important events like this are for you, and especially for PIBD.
Oh my God, it's extremely important. We could not do all that we do without support from this community. I mean, we're able to do so much more for our patients that insurance doesn't pay for. Research, child life, psychosocial support, so many things that insurance doesn't cover that really help heal the child and their family while they're with us. So, I mean, we absolutely rely on the community for help. So we're so grateful.
And I'm glad you added the word family in that. Isabella and I have been chatting about this through the broadcast. It's just not the person that has the issue, in this case PIBD. It's the family that gets healed with it too, whether the brothers, the sisters, the mom, the dad, the aunts, the uncles, and all that business. And listen, that's in the DNA of Rady.
Well, it's a family affair when a child's in the hospital.
Right.
We really wrap our arms around the entire family, and the siblings too. Let's say a child's in the hospital, and we invite the sibling to come to the playroom and have them be a part of it, so they don't feel left out.
Right, exactly. Talk about how critical philanthropy is when it comes to research.
It's 100% so needed. We could not do all that we do without being able to do the research and being able to provide those services that we can provide world-class care to every child that comes to us.
You know, what's so good, I'm going to brag about you guys because everyone does, and they should on this. The reason why you are so successful at philanthropy, yes, they're generous people here in San Diego, but listen, the metrics behind your success and how you run the organization and have for many, many years, and people feel great about what you've done for their kids and their families, and the doctors you have and the staff you have. There's a reason why you get a lot of money, and hats off to you folks.
Yeah, I mean, our leadership is amazing. I mean, we go above and beyond. I mean, we are the only pediatric hospital in San Diego, which is really unheard of. You don't hear of just one children's hospital. So we are it for the community, but we go above and beyond. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'm out in the community, maybe at an event like this, or maybe just in the grocery store with my jacket on, and someone says, oh, I was a patient there, or my child was, and I'm so grateful for the care, and it just makes me feel so proud to be a part of this team.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a person walking in the 3.3 million people in San Diego County that don't have a story about Rady, whether it's themselves or their neighbors or their aunts or uncles or whatever the case may be. Isabella?
Yeah, so as we've been doing interviews all night, one thing that's kind of become clear is that there is a mental health crisis right now. That is no secret, and the resources for that are still, lagging or trying to go along. And one of the most important things with something like PIBD is like early intervention and things like that. Could you just talk a little bit about sort of the mental health crisis going on today and the efforts that you, Rady's, Dr. Rowe are making to kind of work on this?
Absolutely. So about 10 years ago, we would get maybe 30 to 40 kids in our emergency department coming in with the health crisis. And in the last 10 years, it's just gone up exponentially. We're getting 300 to 400 kids a month.
Wow.
So we have really put a lot of things in place to help those kids. We have our Child Adolescent Psychiatry Services, CAPS, which is an inpatient unit for kids. We have our Medical Behavioral Unit. We have a Psych Emergency Department, which is brand new. We opened about 2 years ago. So it's actually a 6-bed unit where kids can actually spend the night for a night, and then we kind of figure out where they're going to go. Are they going to go to our inpatient unit, or are they just going to refer them to outpatient services? We have a behavioral health urgent care unit in our mid-city, so and we serve the underserved there. so they can kind of come in as a walk-in appointment for an emergency. They don't have to make an appointment. And then we also have, so that's open in the afternoon, and it's really important to have those services available for people going through these, very difficult times.
Yeah, and anyone who's had something to do with Rady, you guys just don't turn anyone down, do you?
No, absolutely not. No. That's what philanthropy really helps with. About 50% of our patients have either little or no insurance, and so we're not going to turn kids away because of the inability to pay. So we serve all our kids. Anybody can walk in our emergency department and get care.
Right. So we were honored to have Dr. John Ho on. He's just absolutely very smart, very generous. You can just feel the warmth coming from his voice in that aspect. I know you're really proud of that, but he's just one of the many, many doctors that you folks have that are just doing unbelievable things in the community, correct?
Yes. Oh, yes. We have over 1,000 nurses, about 700 physicians, and various 28 specialties. And some kids see multiple doctors for multiple specialties. And this is what actually this inflammatory brain disease disorder is going to be serving: rheumatology, infectious disease, neurology. So it crosses many spectrums.
Right, exactly. And he was talking about, it's so critical in any community for that area, but especially San Diego, Southern California. Collaboration is the key. Collaborating with all these wonderful, Sanford Burnham, UCSD, Scripps, and so forth. And you guys are the poster child for collaboration, for God's sake.
We collaborate with so many organizations and just individuals, the donors of this community.
Well, you know this better than anybody, being in the position you're in. You work in a silo, you'll die in a silo.
Yes.
So you need to sit there and spread the wings on this over here. Before you end the interview, promise me you'll get to come on my Spotlight on the Community show and get a more engaging interview on this. I know this is going to be a little bit short because of this beautiful dinner that has been fundraising has put on. What can our listeners do to support your efforts?
Well, you can go to radyfoundation.org and click the donate button. You can call me. I will answer the phone, 858-966-7731. It actually goes right to my cell phone. So
and someone will probably call you, right?
I answer the phone.
Right.
You can also email me at lmathios@rchsd.org. And I'm happy to talk to you. Maybe you have a certain area of the hospital. If you want to support PIBD, that'd be amazing. Or you can, we take donations for the smallest amounts to the largest. Every bit counts. So we have people that give $1, and we have people that get millions of dollars. So we take all forms of monetary donations.
No, that sounds good. Isabella, any final comments?
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you so much for everything you've done. I know that, working in close proximity with my mom, seeing her do all this and seeing her talk with you, this has been so many months, even I think year or two in the work and the making. So just thank you so much for all that you've been doing.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, Isabella. We're so grateful for you putting yourself out there. That is amazing. And I'm so grateful for your parents for all that they're doing to help the Rady Children's. They're inviting their entire network to support Rady Children's. It's amazing. And your mom has literally been pushing for this for a long time. She never gave up, and she just kept going, and we are finally here. So I'm so excited and so grateful for you and your parents.
Yeah, Denise is a force on that. Any final comments, Lauren?
Well, like I said, if you want to support Rady Children's, please go to our website. If you have any questions, there's a lot of information on our website, and I'm happy to help with anything I can.
Very good. We've been chatting with Lori Mathios. He's the Director of Advancement for Rady Children's Hospital Foundation, joined by my co-host, Isabella Pihas of Rady Children's Hospital's fundraising dinner here at Yanni's Bar and Grill in Scripps Ranch, focusing on pediatric inflammatory brain disorders. We hope you enjoyed the interview.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are doing a special edition of Spotlight on the Community Show here at Yanni's Bar and Grill in Scripps Ranch. It is a fundraiser for Rady Children's Hospital, chatting about a disease that our doctor is going to talk about. That is Dr. Jennifer Bahr from Resilience and Naturopathic. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes, you are.
Okay, very good. PANDAS doctor. And you had heard earlier from Isabella Pihas, who had this issue with herself, and you treated Isabella, correct?
I did, yeah.
So talk about the disease.
So the particular disease that we're talking about is PANS or PANDAS.
Right.
Can be called both. So it's pediatric acute onset neuropsychiatric syndrome. PANDAS is a specific type that's caused by strep, and it can cause all sorts of neuropsychiatric symptoms from OCD to tics, behavioral changes, a lot of sudden onset anxiety, behavioral regression, and cognitive regression too. And this really affects so many kids that we're really finally starting to recognize.
Now, so it got recognized 10 years ago, 100 years ago, last
About 25 years ago.
Really?
1998 was the first time it was really officially defined.
So what was it before? Just no one really knew?
Yeah, I think that's
And they said you got some, mental health issues, and that's about it, correct?
Yeah, I think that the reality is there's a whole lot of people who likely had PANS as a child, and it just was never diagnosed because we didn't have a clear understanding of what it was. So they got a diagnosis of OCD or depression or pediatric bipolar disorder, you name it.
Right. So what was the tipping point? What got people to say, no, this is what it is. This is why it's like this. Was it research? Was it a whole bunch of doctors like yourself just going, it's not just mental health?
Yeah, no, so not doctors like me. So I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I'm a clinical practitioner.
Right.
But Dr. Sue Sweeto at the National Institute of Mental Health was the person who was really credited for defining it through research that she was doing there at NIMH. Right,
exactly. So you've been doing this for how long now?
A little over a decade.
So over a decade, okay. And now that people are aware of this, and there needs to be a lot more aware of this, because I'm sure there's still a lot of misdiagnosis, how are you communicating this with pediatricians?
I really work a lot more with the community itself that is experiencing it. We're working on trying to get more awareness to pediatricians so that they can identify it early on. And so just really it's through the people who have experienced it, taking it back to their pediatricians and talking them through it, and then having conversations about what we're seeing as people are open to it.
Right, exactly. So is it genetic? Is it caused by just life in general?
So
we don't know yet.
There's so many things that really contribute to it. So it's ultimately their underlying susceptibility to having this atypical and misdirected immune response that causes all of these symptoms. There's so many factors that play a role, including environmental things, as well as genetics and other things that we probably just haven't even defined yet.
So is there any research out there that says, boy, 1 out of every 2,000 kids have this, or 1 out of 15,000, or we don't know?
The most recent number that I saw was 1 in 200.
Is that right?
Yeah, 1 in 200, and I'm sure that that's actually quite low.
And does it hit a certain age? I think Isabella said it was about 12 when she had it. I could be wrong on that number.
Yeah. So we're seeing that it can really hit at any age, and even some people as adults can develop this if they get the right immune trigger, the right sort of soup that can then create just the tipping point for them. So we're seeing it even come on in adulthood for some people. Right,
and I think so. Once you have this, and we were talking to Isabella earlier, and then another gentleman, Adam, who had it as well. Is it a long? He said it was about a 7-year healing process, and I think Isabella said it was about the same too.
Yeah, it really depends on the individual and how much they've had going on and what sort of therapies they're using. This is a condition that really does well if you bring in a whole lot of different options. My area of expertise happens to be in naturopathic medicine and homeopathy in particular, and we're finding that is really effective for kids who are dealing with PANS, especially when they have not had success in some of the more conventional pharmaceuticals or even alternative nutritional type of medicines.
We're talking to Dr. Jennifer Bahr of Resilience Naturopathic. She's a PANS doctor She was Isabella Pihas' doctor. Isabella, of course, is the daughter of Yanni and Denise Pihas here at a wonderful fundraiser at Yanni's Bar and Grill in Scripps Ranch, raising some much-needed money for research for PIBD. So what can our listeners do that can support your efforts, or people that, are going to need the support for research?
I think just having as many conversations with people as they possibly can, if they even remotely suspect that something like this could be going on with their children, bringing it to their doctors, talking to members of the community, finding groups of support so they can learn as much as absolutely possible.
So if someone hearing this podcast says, listen, I need to talk to Dr. Jennifer Bahr, I need to know more about this, how do they get a hold of you?
So there's a couple of ways. You could first just go to our website, which is resiliencenaturopathic.com, or you could join our Facebook group. It's a community of parents who are dealing with PANS PANDAS. There's about 18,000 people in there as of right now,
wow,
where we both teach people everything they could possibly need to know to make really good decisions about getting care and getting their kids and their families healed, because this is something that affects the whole family, not just the kiddo, and really connect with some parents who can give people really good support too. So those are the two ways to get in touch with me.
Yeah, no, that's very important here. We were talking about that in our previous interviews. We know it's not just the person that has it, it's their whole network, whether they're siblings and parents and aunts and uncles and so forth. Well, thank you so much for sharing that story, Dr.
And I should
Jennifer
probably
Bahr.
give the name of the Facebook group. I realized I didn't give the name of the Facebook group. So.
Well, they have to sit there and think it through. That's right, mental.
Yeah, so it's
mental telepathy.
The name of the Facebook group is Homeopathy for PANS and PANDAS.
Okay, that's very, very good. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Sure, somewhere down the road, we'll get you back on for a Spotlight on the Community interview, maybe in about a month or two, to talk about if any of this fundraising had benefited what you folks are doing.
Great. Thank you so much.
Good. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and you're listening to a special edition of Spotlight on the Community Show here at Yanni's Bar and Grill. We're just concluding a fundraising dinner for Rady Children's Hospital focused on PIBD. We hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.